and welcome to the QuesterMage, and welcome back to another Remnant from the Ashes video for the Nintendo Switch. In this video I'm going to once again test to see if a Nintendo Switch game works with mouse and keyboard controls, so please sit back, relax, click like, subscribe, and hopefully enjoy. Here we go. Hopefully you all have seen my previous video about Remnant from the Ashes on Nintendo Switch. It's a game I very much enjoy. I really like playing this type of game, especially on a handheld system. But it always brings up the question for me of, does it work with mouse and keyboard control? So let's take a look to see if this game does indeed support this control method. Okay, here we are in the main screen. It says press any button, so let's start pressing buttons. Oh, it worked. Right, if I keep on pressing buttons, can I get past the screen? No, so it looks like I have to have a Nintendo Switch controller handy so you can get past these pop-ups. So let's go through that. Alrighty, here we are in a game, so let's see if some of these controls actually work. Forward, backward, left, right. Oh, so far so good. This looks like it's working pretty well. It is a shame, like I mentioned in the last video, that this game doesn't actually support gyro controls. I think this game would be far superior if it had that control system, but unfortunately it doesn't. I am happy to see that it does actually work with mouse and keyboard, but let's test this out a little bit more, and let's see how good mouse and keyboard actually works on Nintendo Switch for this game. The mouse seems to work pretty well. The sensitivity is a little bit lower than what I'd like, but overall, it was working pretty well. This is a brand new character that I have created to play this game, so you can see I've done some stuff, but not much. This is very much beginning of the game. Okay, let's test this out one more time out here, because it's a good place to test it. So backwards works, left works, great, right works, and the aiming, as you can see, works pretty well, at least in my opinion. Let's see if we can take out a few of these enemies. The intricate controls here are a definite takeaway. This game really does need this or gyro controls for the Switch, but it's good to see that with keyboard and mouse this is indeed working. You can see here this isn't a problem at all taking out these enemies, which is great. Again, without pointer controls, you do have a heavy aim assist, which is still implemented even if you're using mouse and keyboard, I'm assuming, so it might make the game a little bit easier, but hey, it does work. Oh. Right, okay, so the button mappings, I don't know any of the button mappings on computer, so that's all new to me. I'm just trying to figure out the buttons. As I said, WASD is all the directional controls. We have Q, which is the healing. We have R, which is reload. We have Alt, which is crouch. Shift, which is run. And I can't seem to find the evade button. Okay, so that's running and crouch. That works as well. That's great. So let's keep on going. Let's see what we can do a little bit with this control system. Okay, here's another enemy. Just using a mouse and keyboard, just using the mouse really, is what makes this an easier experience. Just a pointer. Oh, what happened there? I just attached Joy-Con to the Nintendo Switch while it's in the dock. So it looks like you have to have the Joy-Con connected via Bluetooth for this setup to work. Because now I can't play with the mouse and keyboard without the Joy-Con attached. So that's interesting. Also worth mentioning are the UI elements all stayed as the Nintendo Switch buttons. Nothing changed to the keyboard or mouse controls like we've seen in No Man's Sky and I think Astroneer. That can always cause a little bit of confusion when it tells you to press a specific button. It's not going to show on screen the button that you need to press. It's going to show the button that you need to press on the Joy-Con. But overall, it does seem to be working pretty well. If you hold down the fire button, then you do a melee attack, which is really good. But there is something that is definitely missing in this whole experience, which I'll get to in a little bit, because another thing I want to talk about is the inventory. So the inventory does work. I am actually using the mouse here, but it's really difficult to see. You can see the highlights, hopefully, of the items there, but you can't see any cursor anywhere on the screen, which is a little bit of a shame. You can use directional controls, which is fine. However, in the menu, if you want to toggle right or left, you have to press the relevant key on the keyboard to do it. So if I want to go to the options, I have to press O, inventory I, traits, T, map, M, and that's how you get to the various options. But I can't seem to get to the sub options in some of these. To get into these sub options, the system, gameplay, video, audio controls, and language, I have to use the Joy-Con controllers. And as we are talking about limitations, the biggest one so far, which definitely hampers the overall game experience, is the dodge and vault button seems to be missing. Now, I did go online to check what the keyboard mapping for this game is, and it seems like the spacebar is supposed to be the evade or the vault button. when you're playing this game on Nintendo Switch with the 2.4 GHz control, like I said earlier, the vault and back button is not accessible, so I cannot vault over objects, as you can see on screen here. You can see that I was trying different buttons to get over this railing. There was no way for me to actually do that unless I use the Joy-Con controllers, which the button is the B button. If I press the B button, I can vault, but with the keyboard and mouse, I cannot. Now, why did I say that this hampers the overall experience? Is because the game heavily requires you to evade. So if you do not have the ability to evade in this game, it becomes insanely difficult. As you can see here, I am finding it very difficult to get out of the way of enemies that are coming towards the player, and also this game heavily uses projectiles being thrown at you, and the way you get around those is by evading. And unfortunately, that option is missing. On a side note, I did actually try to connect the 2.4 GHz dongle to the Nintendo Switch dock using a Brook adapter, the Brook Wingman NS, and it didn't actually work. Another idea that came to mind is changing the crouch and the evade buttons, just swapping those buttons around in the Nintendo Switch's button mapping feature. So I went into the button mapping, swapped over the A and B buttons, went back into the game. Unfortunately, that did not work, and the Brook Wingman NS adapter didn't work at all. It just stopped this setup from working completely. So I thought it might be helpful to actually say, yes, I did try it, but no, it did not work. So Remnant from the Ashes does overall work on the Nintendo Switch with the mouse and keyboard setup, which is really good. But like I was saying, without that evade function, fine, you can walk around the environments, you can take out some of the low-level enemies, that's fine, but as soon as you get to these captains, as I call it, becomes insanely difficult. If you want that difficulty, go for it. Not for me. I do want mouse and keyboard controls with this game on Switch. Preferably, actually, I'd want gyro. Both would be lovely, but in the current state that the mouse and keyboard has been implemented or left over on this game on Nintendo Switch, it is very difficult to play this game on Nintendo's handheld console. So hopefully this has helped all of you. If you're interested in knowing more games with mouse and keyboard support on Nintendo Switch, please let me know down in the comments. That way I'll know if you all like this type of video, and I'll continue to make more of them, because I have an inherent interest in seeing what other games do support mouse and keyboard controls on Nintendo Switch, because I like the overall small form factor that this machine has. I can have it next to my monitor, hook up a mouse and keyboard, and it's like I have a mini computer available to me. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much again for watching. If you like what I do here, please leave a like button down below. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to see more, please click that subscribe button, as that is the only way this channel can grow. Now, I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. And until then, thanks again.